Hi, it's V with Crafting Daily Dose. I'm back with another alternative for the February 2021 paper pumpkin called Bouquet of Hope. In this one, you can see the bouquet die cut peeking out from beneath the vellum. And when you open the card, there's some movement because the bouquet has a little pop-up mechanism, and there is room for a hidden message. I'm going to show you how to make this card, so let's get started. We're going to be cutting a rectangle shaped hole out of our card base, and I've gone ahead and marked some places on my paper guide here using just some sticky flags. So this one, the top of this one is at 7/8 of an inch. That's where I'm going to start my cut, and the top of this flag is at 4 5/8 of an inch. That's where I'm going to end my cut. Now, as far as where to put it, so I'm putting the long side along the top of the trimmer, and I'm going to be using the measurements here on the right-hand side for this first cut. I want my paper at 13/16 of an inch. I know sometimes people are intimidated by those 16ths of an inch, but basically this is going to be 3/4 of an inch and then add one more tick mark. So 13/16. And I'm going to position my blade so that this little guide here on the side is going to start at 7/8 of an inch, and then I'm going to go down to 4 5/8. Okay. So here's my cut on the right-hand side. I'm going to flip it over because it's just easier to measure this way. I'm going to now put my paper at 3 7/16. So here's 3 1/2. It's one tick mark less than that. So 3 7/16. And I'm going to repeat that same cut, going from 7/8 of an inch down to 4 5/8. So right now, I have 2 long parallel cuts. Now I want to turn my paper so that I'm making new cuts that are basically going to be connecting these. And I've moved my little flags here. The flag is now at 13/16 and 3 7/16. And I'm going to put my paper over at 4 5/8, which is right here. Four 5/8, and I'm going to be cutting between 13/16 down to 3 7/16. And then I'm going to turn my paper now so that the white side is showing. I'm now going to place it at 7/8 of an inch, but using the right side to measure. So it's going to be right here, making that same cut from 13/16 down to 3 7/16. Okay, and so now you can see that we've cut this rectangle out. I wasn't entirely precise in this little corner here. There's a little bit of residual, so I'm just going to snip that off. And I'm going to save this rectangle that we cut out. When I fold down my card base, this is what I have, and you can see that our vellum piece is going to go right over that hole. Just like so. In order to attach it, I'm going to use the little mini glue dots, and I'm going to do my best to hide them underneath some of these leaves so that it's a little bit more discreet. Now we can take the piece that we had cut out and we're going to put it inside of our card behind where that hole is. So for this, I'm going to use tear and tape, and I'm only going to place it on 3 sides, leaving the top side open. Once I have the tear and tape on and have removed the backing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it back into this hole where it came from, and then put a little piece of washi up at this top edge. Remember, I don't have any tear and tape adhesive along the top edge. I'm going to close my card. So the result is that that piece is going to be in place so that it shows up right behind the opening. Now I'm going to carefully remove my washi. Just peel it off there. I'm going to be making a very simple box pop-up support for the inside of the card. I have a piece of printer paper here, but you can also use cardstock. This is 4 1/4 by 1 inch. It's scored at 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, and then finally at 4 inches. And so this little short piece on the end, this is going to be our glue tab. All of these are going to be mountain folds. And you can see that after we've done that, we're going to end up with something that looks like a box. So I'm going to put glue right on this little short piece here, getting it right to the edge of that crease. And then I'm going to fold the other flap down onto it. This way I can make sure that the piece is going to lie flat. Let that set for a second, and then I'll install it into our card. So the support is going to go inside the card like this, and it's going to be holding up our bouquet. So I want to position it so that I'm happy with where the bouquet is going to end up. And I want the support to be underneath this widest part so that it can be more hidden. And so that's actually a pretty good placement. I'm making a quick little mark here because it's going to be hidden anyway, just at the center of where that's going to be. Okay, now I need to put some adhesive. You can use tear and tape like I'm going to use, or you can also use liquid adhesive. And you want it to be on this short panel here that's going to go to the front flap of the card. And you also want it to go on the underside on this long panel, and that's going to attach to the bottom, the back of this card. You want to trim off any adhesive that is not where it's supposed to be. I've taken off the backing that's on the big panel that's going to go to the back of the card, and now I'm going to put it in place, lining this up with the crease here and using that little dot that I had made before as a reference point. I'm making sure that my mechanism lies flat and that I don't feel any stray adhesive that's not where it's supposed to be. Then I'm going to take off the backing from this little short panel, and I'm going to fold the front of my card onto it. And now when I open it back up again, you see that box support from the side. Now I'll be ready to place my bouquet. So I'm just going to put some liquid adhesive. I can see that it goes underneath this little cluster of flowers, so I'll put some liquid adhesive there. And I'm going to do this with the card front partially closed, just so that I can see what that's going to look like when my card is closed. And I'm going to adjust the angle until I'm happy with the position. And press it down. Now when the card opens, that bouquet moves. When I'm sure that everything is working properly, if I wanted to come back to place additional adhesive here, now that I know where everything's going to be, I can go ahead and do that safely. Notice that I'm only putting glue on the rest of the larger panel, not on the short one. Again, fold it down flat, press it, and let it set. We are going to be preparing the sentiment sticker for use. Now, I'm a craft dabbler, and so this is a technique that is borrowed from working with vinyl crafts. Basically, we're going to be removing or weeding out all of these negative space areas, and then we're going to be using a sticky paper, in our case, some press and seal, in order to act as a transfer to get this onto our card without stretching and distorting out all the thin lines. Just taking my time to make sure that it comes off nicely. I'm going to decide where I want to place my sentiment sticker. I think I want it to be kind of at an angle like this. When I'm ready, I can press it down, burnish it, and then gently peel off the transfer. We need a place to be able to write our greeting. So I have a piece of basic white cardstock that is 1 3/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. Then I took one of the yellow strips from the kit and I trimmed it down to also be 1 3/4 inches. And then this got scored down the middle along the short side at 1/2 inch. And this is going to be mountain folded. I'm going to glue this onto the top of the white cardstock. I have a small hole punch that I'm going to use to create a little hole right here. So this yellow strip is both decorative as well as structural because it helps to reinforce this hole and prevent it from tearing. Now I'm going to take a piece of the twine from the kit. This is a 10-inch piece, and I'm going to double it up. After it's been doubled, I'm going to thread it through the hole and just tie a knot. And once more. This is going to give the recipient a place to pull the message out, and it's also going to make it a little bit more obvious that there's something there to pull. Once I have my knots and I'm happy with it, I can go ahead and just trim off the ends here. Like that. This is going to slide under this pink panel on the card. And you might have to do this a couple of times just to kind of loosen things up and make that action a little bit more smooth. If yours doesn't slide all the way in, what you could do is to trim some off from this edge here so that it tucks in neatly. And before you close your card, you can always tuck in these ends here so that they don't poke out and give things away before the card is opened. That's our completed card. I hope that you've enjoyed this dose of creativity and that you'll join me the next time. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.